Everyone, I'm Dr. Z. I'm a clinical psychologist specializing in transgender care. Welcome to my channel. Let's today address a statement that to this day I get in my private practice when people come to me and still ask me, I can't possibly be trans because I don't hate my genitals. I still get a lot of people come to me with that statement, thinking that even though they do experience gender dysphoria and incongruency with their gender assigned at birth, they still tell themselves, I can't possibly be transgender because, again, I'm not really hating my genitals. A lot of times, the statement I see coming from trans feminine identified individuals, but I also see it from trans masculine and non binary folks as well. So I don't even know where to start with this because I don't even know when the statement became, in some shape or form, kind of perhaps a criteria that people have to meet in order to identify as transgender. My assumption is that this goes way back to a time period when it was really, really difficult to get gender affirming care. And as a result, a lot of trans folks had to stick to a very particular narrative in order to even get in a door. And the narrative usually will go something along the lines of, I feel like I'm trapped in a body. I feel that I have a very strong hate, disdain and hate toward my genitals. Sometimes I think about mutilating my genitals. Sometimes I think about cutting those parts off. The word hate comes out. I hate my body. I hate my physical characteristics. So I think at some point, people had to restore to such drastic form of narrative in order to even get access to care, because otherwise, if somebody walks in and says, yes, I have gender dysphoria, yes, I don't feel congruent with my gender assigned at birth, no, I don't hate my genitals, they would not be able to get the care that they needed. A lot of people to this day still feels that, again, like I said, that's the criteria, but the truth is it is not. The reality is that tremendous amount of individuals, I would say probably more than 0.5% of people that I see in private practice do not hate their genitals. What I see are individuals who don't feel congruent with their genitals. They don't feel comfortable with their genitals. They don't feel like their genitals really represent their gender identity, but nonetheless, they don't hate their genitals. I also see people who feel neutral about their genitals. They don't hate it, they don't love it, they feel very detached and disconnected from that part of their body. I did a video a while back explaining why some people may not have genital dysphoria and how, for some individuals, not for all, there's a period when people feel like they don't have any genital dysphoria. And then as time goes by, the dysphoria suddenly wakes up in that particular part of the body. And the reason I explained in that video why dysphoria wakes up is because it's a dormancy effect, meaning dysphoria may stay dormant in particular parts of the body, and some of you may have already experienced or felt it. And then as you start working on yourself, as you start moving closer to congruency, dysphoria may suddenly wake up, become awake in those parts of your body, and genitals is one of them. Now, the dormancy effect is not something that everybody struggles with. What I see is a lot of individuals who start this feeling either neutral or kind of not really feeling much towards their genitals. And as they start going through gender transition, it comes a point where they start feeling that now this body part feels even more incongruent because now they're achieving more and more congruency. Sometimes we don't see how certain body parts feel so out of place for us until we start feeling more congruent with other aspects of ourselves. And this happens a lot. Not hating your genitals is in no way criteria to identify as transgender, and it's no way criteria to have gender dysphoria. If you're working with a provider that says you must hate your genitals, find another provider because that is deeply, deeply inaccurate. Huge portion of trans and non-binary community goes on and completes transition, whatever transition might be for them, without ever doing anything about their genitals. By retaining relationship to their current genitalia, large portion of individuals have a very, I would say, comfortable and very wholesome relationship to their current genitals. They don't hate their genitals. They don't want to do anything about it. They see their genitals as sexual organ. They're able to be sexual and intimate. So not hating again genitals is not something that is going to be a narrative that a lot of you are going to experience. A lot of times when people's sense of gender dysphoria starts to oscillate, it starts to wake up, and you start to become aware that you're struggling with gender dysphoria, it is very natural for a lot of people to then seek to a very black or white extreme accounts of what it's like living with gender dysphoria. And one of those accounts that a lot of people tend to go to is this extreme: I must absolutely hate my genitals along with hating other aspects of my physicality. And if I don't, I'm not transgender. I want you to be all mindful of this. If some of you are doing that, I want you to recognize that it's also could be a way your mind is trying to sabotage and resist accepting the reality that you are struggling with gender dysphoria. People who don't struggle with gender dysphoria don't, in my experience, don't entertain this type of thoughts at all. So the fact that you're entertaining the thoughts and you're thinking that you must have this narrative, but you don't, it could be potentially your mind resisting. Explore more, look a little bit deeper into it versus completely running and turning away from it. Because remember, if dysphoria is present, it's not just going to suddenly vanish because you're not allowing yourself to explore that period of time. The worst case scenario is you're putting yourself at risk of prolonging not accepting it, prolonging being in denial and ambivalent stage until years pass, and then dysphoria suddenly fully comes to the surface, and here you are. And as a result of it suddenly coming to the surface, here you are, and now you have to confront it, and years have passed, and then you're going to feel tremendous amount of regret not doing anything about it sooner. But expecting a narrative that one must hate genitals, in my opinion, is very wrong. It's not right. And again, a lot of you watching this know this. You don't hate your genitals. You may feel neutral. You may even feel that you dislike your genitals. You may feel like your genitals don't belong in your body. You may feel a lot of other things than this very strong visceral hate reaction. So I wanted to come on here and make a video talking about it because for some reason, and I think for reason is because now on internet there's a lot, like I said, extreme examples of really black and white narrative, and a lot of them are really inaccurate. There's a lot of other narratives in between that are not being explored. So for anybody watching it and holding yourself back from exploring your gender identity because you're sticking to this one particular checklist that you must have and feeling you don't have it, that's really not the best way to approach it. Comment below, let me know what has your experience been. Have you ever felt a strong visceral hate? I bet probably people who are going to comment felt like they didn't feel comfortable, congruent, felt like that body part did not belong to them. I bet hate would be much more rarer for individuals. A lot of people are going to report feeling neutral. So comment below, let me know how has that been for you, and have you also experienced the dormancy effect when you didn't have dysphoria and then suddenly it bubbled up and woken up to the surface? Comment below, love reading all of your comments, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.